I don't have any questions.
What's your faith, by the way? What's your faith?
I'm agnostic.
Yourself?
I was born a Muslim and then I got detached from it, but I'm starting to become more closer to it. Like, I need to read the Quran with translation.
Okay.
But there is a few questions. I don't want to be on camera about
They
it.
don't want to be on camera, sister.
So what was the reason you became detached from Islam?
Well, I had like a few questions, like mostly about like science and then like afterlife.
Okay.
Like we
you
were
can answer
speaking about this about before as well,
Yeah.
like any evidence to afterlife or like you said there's no science to our souls and what happens after life.
So when you say evidence, you mean you want like physical proof?
A tangible
Not
evidence
physical
or...
proof, but like something that's
Good. You know, there is the best way to understand this is as follows. Do you believe there is the existence of absolute justice?
yes,
You believe this?
yeah.
Is this happening on earth?
What's happening on Earth?
Yeah, is the absolute justice, is it practiced on
Do you
earth?
see absolute justice anywhere on earth?
What does that mean?
It means like justice beyond any
Like
injustice.
people who are oppressed, are they getting back their rights in this life?
No.
So if you believe in the absolute justice, which is in our nature, we are born inclined to believe there is justice. Even babies,
Yeah.
they knew what's the meaning of justice. Even babies to that age, they realize the meaning and the difference between justice and being unjust. Yeah?
Brother,
Yeah.
stand here so people don't go through.
Yeah.
No, you stand here.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have a
press
discussion. Yeah. You see here, that's why if the absolute justice is not practiced on earth, so for people, for example, I will give you one single example. You think, you know, in Belgium, the guy who killed 80 people on the street. Is it in Belgium?
Norway.
Norway. The guy who killed 80 people on the street. He went, yeah, perfect. He killed 80 people on spot, killed all of them. He wasn't retarded, he was this one, went there and just I don't know what was in his mind, he just killed 80 people.
Yeah.
There in Norway, from my understanding, that the prison system there, that the person, that they will be according to the crime, that the jail is according to the crime. So you don't put thieves, for example, with killers, with rapists, etc. So because he has a unique situation, they cannot even put him with other people who are serial killers. Yeah. So what they have to do, they had to hire for him a place, like literally a place for him,
Yeah.
specifically for him. Yeah, and because it's unique for him, so the prison system as well there, that they have to provide for him certain things. For example, they have to provide for him, a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to provide for him internet
Yeah.
and TV,
PlayStation.
a PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I will tell you this is happening. I'm not talking about somewhere. I'm talking about Europe.
Well, they all get shot.
And because there, I think that the life sentence is around maybe 20 or 25 years, something like that. So he will go to jail, he will train himself, he will make bodybuild, etc. So he'll come out stronger after 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So this guy, who is paying for this? The taxpayer, meaning the very same people who the parents and the loved ones of the victims,
Yeah.
those are the very same one who are paying for the pleasure life that this guy, even I heard, I don't know if that's true, I need to verify, that even he is entitled to ask for prostitute, for example, or what do you call it, twice or something, because they said he's a human being, he has lust, whatever. So he is entitled to get an escort, for example, once or twice a week, etc., and paid for that. That's not the problem. There's more than that. Even few years ago,
Yeah.
that he sued the jail. He sued, like even he have all of this, he sued them. Why? He sued them, they said, because they served him with cold coffee. They brought him cold coffee in the morning.
Crazy.
Yeah. And he won the case. He was compensated with 18,000 euros for serving him cold coffee
While in jail.
while in jail.
They could have given him a microwave,
No, he said no, he prefer fresh coffee.
Oh, cappuccino. Okay.
He preferred fresh coffee. And because the guard that day, he brought him the cold coffee, he sued it. And he felt, bad because he was served cold coffee. He went and sued the court. And then they admit, it was a mistake, whatever. And then the court, judged for him to get 18,000 euros. Who's paying this? Again,
The people.
the people.
Yeah.
Like I could imagine my son or my daughter being killed by this criminal, by this scumbag, and then I'm paying the tax for the government, and my tax, they will use this to pay this scumbag to serve him coffee, not adding to this to even
I mean, basically, it's a
for not
complete
serving.
travesty of the justice system. You know?
So the question is to you,
Yeah.
is this justice?
No.
Okay, now where is the absolute justice if it's not on earth?
Yeah, but but where is like the proof of that?
The proof that we are born in our nature, inclined to believe in absolute justice. We're born with this. So since we're born with this, and if it's not there, it is somewhere. Where is it? And all of us eventually are gonna die. Some people are gonna be killed by some criminals, etc. How am I gonna find the justice if I'm being killed, oppressed by someone? Okay? So that's why there is an afterlife, and affirmed in the Quran. If you read the Quran, you'll find the Quran talking about this as well. If you see the Quran, it's all of it. That the Quran has it has many important messages, including that the Quran as well talks about certain things. It's only proven recently. Certain things only proven by science recently. All these things, how the Quran will say an illiterate man lived 1400 years ago, talking about all of these details. That shows that this book, it doesn't come from him, and he never attributed the book for him, because we know if I author something, I will make the credit for myself. Why need to give the credit for someone else, including God, for example? Yeah. No, you don't find an author or someone did a good, for example, complicated, work, etc. And then we'll say this is from God, this is for God. No, it will say, yeah, I have done it, I did this research, I have done this, and then they will write it, all of it in the essay. My point is, so this one and even this book, which has all these sophisticated information and all these proven to be truth, all these prophecies that he told us, not just only science, prophecies, things it will happen, and it happened. He told us, peace be upon him, that about, for example, the defeat of the Romans, and after a few years they're gonna be the victorious against the Persian. And the time where the Muslims, there were only bunch of people in Mecca, and yet the people say, what's this gonna happen? We know if there is a whole empire collapse, that the Roman Empire kind of collapsed in front of the Persian Empire. Collapsed, the whole army was destroyed. It's impossible for them to wake up for another 100 years. And yet Allah says in a few years' time, and within 7 years, then Allah Azza wa Jal made the victory for them. So how is these prophecies that the Prophet peace be upon him saying these things? And as well, since these prophecies, all of them came to be true, and all of these facts in the Quran came to be true, that means this book, it doesn't come from someone except the one who knows, the one who is beyond this universe, the one who knows, the one who is the just one, who is going to be established justice, and that is the proof for the afterlife. Does it make sense to you?
It does, yeah. You've answered my question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now,
Also for you, as an agnostic, what is your understanding about God? Because you must have reflected on it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like if I were to ask you, let's say, where did the universe come from? What would you say?
I would say the Big Bang.
Yeah, but the Big Bang is in effect, it's not the cause. See what I mean? So everything that begins to exist must have a cause to bring that into existence. The Big Bang is an effect, and I'm not saying that it's even today it's like the most accepted theory of how, but it doesn't explain where did that come from, because Big Bang itself talks about things about gases, about the singularity and all these things. But the question still remains, where did that come from? See what I mean?
Yeah.
So can you imagine something coming from nothing?
No.
Because nothing in reality, if you think about it, it doesn't exist. If I asked you what's in my hand, yes, and I say nothing, you wouldn't expect anything, isn't it? Because nothing means absence of everything.
yeah.
So the only other alternative would be that there must be something which caused it. Yeah, something or someone. And we cannot believe that the universe is eternal either, because we know for a fact that the scientists themselves based on the the redshift and so on, the cosmologists explain that the universe is something like 13.8 billion years old, which means it must have a beginning. So again, it began to exist at some point. So we have to come to the conclusion that there must be someone who brought this into existence, and if we go and understand that this entity must have, otherwise you'll have a problem with who created that entity, who brought this into existence. And then it's called an infinite regress. That means it's a never-ending thing. And then in such a thing, it wouldn't exist either. So we know that this entity must be eternal, must be self-sufficient, must be able to create, have a will to create, to bring all this into existence. And that is where we as Muslims and also other religions believe that God has brought this universe into existence. Okay, so we can't just say that one day that all of this, we know for a fact that one day we all are going to die, right? Whether you believe in God or you don't. This is a fact which no one can deny. Not even the atheist can deny that. But the question is this: if all of us, not if, when we die and our existence comes to an end, then whether I'm a Muslim or non-Muslim, whether I'm an atheist or agnostic, it wouldn't really matter. Because if you are just matter and all of that comes to an end one day, that's the end of it, right? But then if there was a flip side, and there was really a life after death, and there were really angels, and there was hell and heaven, and there was God Almighty, then the question would be, how have you prepared for that day, for that event? What would you say then? Would you like a copy of the Quran?
He has.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have a copy?
I have one at home.
Okay.
You're going to read it?
No, but she's already.
Translation.
But-
Is
but-
that with the translation?
Yeah,
This is the translation only. Yeah.
That's only the translation.
Okay. Yeah.
But you yourself, now you know that where you belong now. You know that you belong to Islam. Now you know this.
Yeah, I already know that, but there's something where
Yeah.
I'm not, I could be praying, but I don't. I don't have that strong faith,
So you should start, sister, to start praying.
Yeah.
Now you should start, make your you could say connection with Allah at the end of the day. So it's important for you to start to do what you can in order to get closer to Allah. At the end of the day, we live once, sister, and you never know when we're gonna die. But at least, if we live once, we have to do it in the way that God told us. I'm not expecting you to change everything in one day, but at least make sure that you rectify your relation with Allah first of all. That by being close to Allah, by doing what you can to please Allah, firstly by the 5 daily prayer, the fasting, the month of Ramadan, making sure that you do that at least in the beginning. And of course, there are other things as well, abstaining from all things which is haram in Islam, and to do the right thing. So that's how it is. And be proud of your Islamic identity, and that's something which is important, because many of us actually, because we, many of the brothers and sisters who lived in the West, etc., that they might kind of lost their identity, lost their Islamic identity.
Yeah.
That's why we are urging you to say, go back to your Islamic identity, where you belong. You belong to Islam. And as well, we are there to help you, to assist you. If you need any help, or you need any, for example, if you have any question, we're gonna help you, inshallah ta'ala. So, and at least, inshallah, now you know where you belong, yeah?
Yeah.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Well,
So,
thank you for your time.
no problem, inshallah ta'ala. And inshallah ta'ala, let me get you something. 1 second, inshallah. I'll get you something from the table. Okay, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. You could come with me, inshallah ta'ala. I'll give you something from the table, inshallah.
Alright, guys.
Hey. Okay. So we have. Which one? Yeah, it used to be mine. Yeah.
It's been there for a while. I don't know how many people have
Khalas, leave it.
spoken over it.
Khalas, leave it. Okay. Do we have? Do you have any other pamphlets?
We only have one of that. I have these words.
So your parents are
This one's about my
Yeah, then so my father's side's Turkish.